Ask the Messenger's TV show is a TV show that educates, informs, and entertains our viewers on public health issues such as mental illness, suicide, addiction, illness and disease, COVID-19 relief, crime, domestic violence, homelessness, human trafficking, employment opportunities, healthcare, and more. And now, Ask the Messengers.
Today on Ask the Messengers, in honor of September being National Recovery Month, we bring you recovery stories and resources to let you know that recovery is possible for everyone. We also hope the stories shared will encourage those who are on their own recovery journey and give hope to those who are still suffering. Plus, doing business in Detroit featuring Rita's Italian Ice and Custard. Also, Detroit for Life programs available to City of Detroit residents. Ask the Messengers begins now.
Welcome everybody. I am in a wonderfully sweet place with a sweet lady. Tell our viewers your name and the name of your business.
My name is Artesia Washington, and I am a franchisee with Rita's Ice and Custard.
Oh my goodness. Now, let me tell you, it's not ice cream.
No.
This isn't ice cream, right? When I walked in and I'm like, ooh, ice cream, but I'm still excited. But like, what's the difference?
So, number one, we offer Italian ice that we make daily. And we make dairy-free options for those that are lactose intolerant. We also have custard, and our custard is made, flavors are made in-house as well.
It's homemade?
The custard flavors are made in-house. So the chocolate and vanilla come in as is, and then we mix it up and add the flavors to them.
So it's fresh.
Fresh,
Ooh.
yes. And our number one flavor is probably strawberry cheesecake.
Oh, wait a minute. That just made me do a little
do
a little dance.
Which is made in the house. Thank you. Yes. So we offer custard, not ice cream. We have custard, which is much richer, creamier, and smoother, and tastes better.
Now, some people, from what I'm told, some people that are actually lactose intolerant can actually eat the custard.
So custard is, and we're kosher. Keep that in mind. So our lifespan on our custard is a little shorter, and it's the pasteurization of it that makes you lactose or increases the likelihood of lactose intolerant. So we have a lot of people that cannot have ice cream that can have custard.
Nice. You got something for everybody.
Yes.
You got something for everybody. So how long have you been in business?
We opened in the middle of the pandemic. We actually opened in August of 20.
Goodness.
I know it was a struggle. The struggle was real. But we were under permitting at the time. The state got shut down.
Wow. And you kept going.
We didn't have a choice. I mean, we shut down construction for 3 months and then opened at the end of August.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
by the God's grace, we're still open.
You said we're still open.
It's by God's grace only.
So
I promise you.
You obviously, I was going to ask you, being in business since that long, what obstacles have you faced? But I'm sure that's one of them. Is there anything else that you've had to like kind of overcome to stay in business, where you are?
Well, first and foremost, COVID, excuse my tongue-tied. COVID was first.
That made all of us tongue-tied.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, I was COVID it like the whole year. I was like, what is going on?
Yes. So COVID number one, then supply, followed by supply shortages.
Wow.
From cups and spoons, all that stuff, to labor shortages.
Yeah, I don't even think about stuff like that.
Yeah. So, we were changing cups like every 3 months because we couldn't get supplies. Corporate couldn't get supplies for cups. So it's been on and on and on. Thankfully, we have a lot of people in the neighborhood that work here, so we've been able to secure employees, but that was a challenge for a while.
Now, you could have started a lot of different franchises. And I mean, why would you choose this? Why would you choose Custard? Italian Ice, homemade Italian Ice,
So first and foremost, a lot of jobs are stressful. I come from healthcare, and I wanted to sell happiness.
Oh.
And I wanted everyone to walk out of here happy, and that was important to us. So we sell ice, custard, and happiness.
Ice, custard, and happiness. I love it. Now, the thing with me is when I get somewhere, I get flustered about what to pick, what to choose. I came in here, and let me tell you guys, I've been tasting since I got here. It's delicious. But your employees are knowledgeable. They know what they're They're willing to help. You can taste test. If you don't know what you want, they'll tell you, hey, this is a good one. This is top selling. Now, where do you see yourself from here? You've got great employees. You've got great location. This is a great franchise. You got your happiness on the wall, happiness in the belly. Where you going?
So actually, we plan to open up this summer in Lathrop Village.
Wow.
Yes, that's next.
Expanding.
Yes.
Expanding.
God's grace.
So God has been good,
Yes,
right?
yes.
God has been good. If you could tell somebody that wants to be where you are, you know, maybe they want to own a franchise, they don't know how to get into business, what advice would you give someone?
Know your customer, number one.
Wow.
If you're anything you do, you have to know your customer. You have to know your audience, and you have to be willing to outwork everybody to stay open.
You know what? That was excellent. Look, I'm sitting here like, y'all just don't know. I'm like, who do I want to sell to? Like, who do I want to reach? That's what you got to do the research on.
That's what you got to do.
Right.
You
Wow.
You have to work your business. You have to work your business.
Wow. I'm sitting here speechless, y'all. I'm sitting here speechless. This woman is inspiring. Thank you so much for joining us. You're going to see me eat some of this because I didn't do it on camera because I was so greedy. I mean, it was like, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much for not just getting into this business, but for staying in business.
Thank you.
It's very inspiring. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Neighborhood Beautification Program provides grants to Detroit-based block clubs, neighborhood associations, nonprofit, and faith-based organizations to carry out projects on up to 4 vacant lots in their community. For more information on applicant eligibility, visit their website, www.detroitmi.gov/Detroit for Life.
Well, you're sitting right here in the outdoor pavilion, which is called the Community Serenity Pavilion. We do outdoor cooking space, you know, grilling and things like that here. And also this will be a place where we can get fresh herbs to come in here and like socialize with the community, promote mental health here. Just an outing, just like a family outing that used to be back in the day for people in the community to have a place to relax. We have a fireplace that we've gotten built here so that we can have a monitor. It'll be ran off of solar power. Just a space for relaxation and respecting their environment.
Wait, okay, so we are here, and this is your neighborhood, and this is a part of the Detroit Beautification Project.
Correct. This is a part of the Neighborhood Beautification. We were winners of the Neighborhood Beautification Grant for this space, and we're so excited about that because that's going to finish up this space. Mm-hmm. That's going to allow us to put the beautiful plantings, the flood resiliency things here. We're excited. We're excited for everybody to enjoy the space. Not only Jefferson Charmers, but other communities can come here and enjoy the space with us as well. Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be, all because I live in Detroit.
Tell us about your upbringing.
Well, I think I had kind of a phenomenal early childhood. My father being in the labor movement under A. Philip Randolph, who organized the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. So any significant African-American leader of that time I knew came to my house, Dr. King at my house. And it uniquely pricked, I think, my consciousness because there was no escape for me in terms of wrestling with, you know, what was happening to people of color, what was happening to poor people. And I think that that's probably why even to this day, I'm more concerned about others than I am often about myself. Yeah.
Now, you got involved with drugs as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell us
about
about
the genesis of my sedation and escape was when I was 16. My mother died at 43. She had a massive coronary night before a big game that I was a part of at Castles on the football team. And during the week of mourning, a lot of our friends suggested that I drink beer, as a source of comfort, that I would feel better. And I, made a connection at that point between anesthetizing myself or doing some things to cope with things I couldn't deal with. And it inevitably led to abusing crack cocaine. That primarily came through my relationship with entertainers. Billy Paul and Billy Paul to Eddie Kendricks and David Ruffin, and freebasing, and that was a big issue at that time. I didn't have a long history with that. By the grace of God, I had escaped that, but when I picked it up, within 4 or 5 months, I was totally devastated and made a decision to go get treatment.
What is it that helps you stay focused to remain clean?
After about 3 days of sleep, this beautiful white woman, all in white, I thought I was in heaven, And her name was Sarah Gentle. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And she looked at me, I'm crying. She says, "What's wrong, Horace?" I said, "What am I going to do if I've come all the way down here and told everybody what kind of problem I have and it doesn't work?" She told me to get up and get on my knees with her. And she said, "I've never met a person yet who got up in the morning and asked God to keep them clean and meant it, that ever relapsed." And she taught me a prayer. I prayed every day, 33 years later almost. "Lord, eliminate the mental obsessions, eradicate the physical cravings, and make the thoughts of using drugs and alcohol a thoroughly distasteful proposition in Jesus' name." And I've never had an urge. I've never relapsed. I've never thought about it. And she's always, over those 30 years we met, she always said that she just really believed that I was going to do it. Very few people really overcome it.
Right.
But by the grace of God and the help of a few good people, I've been able to do it.
Amen. Yeah. In that process, how did that impact your family?
Well, I can say, I almost want to cry. I can say I was really blessed to have always a family that never put pressure on us to be anything but to live the best possible life. And so I had no issue of being transparent with my family. And it was my sister whose house I drove to in Pontiac. Her husband was the chief of police, and indicated to her that I needed to go somewhere. And by the way, I had wrote a bunch of bad checks, about $5,000 worth of checks. I had a Lincoln Continental with my title in the glove box. The dope man and gentleman who, by the way, managed the Supremes, the road manager, was at the phone booth begging me to sell my car for $8, but I drove on less than the eighth of tank of gas to my sister's house on Cherokee. When I got in front of her house, the car cut out of gas. And I look back on that as, the providence of God. And by the way, my dad came to treatment to support me, and, they just rallied, and I'm the same way. My son, my daughters, my grandchildren, hey, if we don't do for each other, then all that we do for others is for naught.
Well, today on Ask the Messengers, we're here with my friend, Faris. So, Faris, tell me a little bit about how you grew up.
Well, I grew up in foster care, and me and my siblings were separated at a very young age. My mother was 13 when she had me. My father was 15 years old. So I was placed in foster care at a very young age. And so I moved around a lot as a child.
Okay, how long did you stay in foster care?
I stayed in foster care from the age of, I want to say, 3 up until I was around 14 years old. So I would say about 11 years.
Okay, so we got some similarities.
Yeah.
So how did you get off into the lifestyle?
Oh, wow. Well, coming out of foster care, I went through traumatic experiences of being molested and abused. And I was spit on, talked about, criticized, and teased and taunted at a very early age. So I did not like myself. And I always wanted to change who I was on the inside. If I could change to be another person, that's what I wanted to do. So when I came out into the street life and all that kind of stuff, I had a lot of friends who were doing drugs, and we were doing freebasing back then. It wasn't crack cocaine, so it wasn't highly addictive as it was.
So how did you come into the street life?
Came to the street life. I left home at a very early age, my grandmother's house. Once my foster mother, who had passed, she died, and I went through an adoption, and I went back to my foster mother's house, and she ended up dying. So I ended up going back to my grandmother's house, and I was emotionally abused. I wasn't so much physically abused, but emotionally abused. And by that time, I ended up giving up on adults and them trusting me trusting adults to handle my life, because everything that they did to me was degrading and pedophilic. So I didn't want to be bothered with I didn't trust nobody no more. You know, I just got to a point where I said, forget this. You don't know how to run my life, so I'm going to run my life. And so I started hanging out at clubs at a very early age, 14 and 15. I was hanging out at this club called the Famous Door back in the day.
Baby.
Back in the day, the Famous Door. And I developed a family of friends who took me in. You know, a lot of people back in those days was talked about, criticized, and for being who they were, you know, living the life that they was living.
When did you get to the point where you said, look, enough is enough, I'm done?
This time it was more spiritual. It was something spiritual, and I didn't feel God's presence no more. And
you was completely bankrupt.
I was bankrupt, you know, and so spiritually bankrupt. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't feel God's presence, and I was in my house, and I said, God, if you take me, I'm all right with it. Okay. I'm tired of fighting. I don't want to use no more. I'm done. I don't want this no more. And so then a voice came to me and said, what did you just say? And I said, okay, Lord, I'm sorry. So I had to repent. And but I challenged the Lord. I said, God, if you don't deliver me, I said, then I'm serving the wrong God. I said, you've delivered so many other people from drugs. I said, I got a lot of friends in the fellowship that's been delivered from drugs. So when you came back
last time, did you go to treatment?
I didn't go to treatment.
You did?
I know.
You knew what to do.
I knew what to do. I knew what to do. You guys had already told me what to do.
And you're still doing it?
And I'm still doing it.
How long you been clean now?
6 years. 6 years. Working on 7. So I'm staying here. I ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
And God is definitely blessing me. He is blessing my life.
Yeah.
He changed my life. 2 days later, I woke up with the Spirit of God on me. And he took the desire to use away from me. Cigarette smoking, everything. You know, I used to smoke cigarettes crazy. Right. But he did it all. So I'm so excited about what he has to offer and what God is doing through this process of recovery. And you guys who have been there for me through the years, that means so much to me. Like, it's just a blessing, man, that every time that I walked in and out of these doors, that you were there. You've been there since I first came here. And you've been there. I'm just getting so emotional right now because it's just...
Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
When people love you, when you don't love yourself, when people show you grace and mercy and they don't have to, when people are kind to you, when people will feed you, take you somewhere, give you a ride, you know, and be that encouraging person in your life and that person that pushes you, you know, you were one of the people who did that, you know. And so you and so many others in this fellowship, you know, have been there for me when I didn't know who I was, when I was confused, when I was down, when I was out, when I had, when I didn't have. That means so much to me.
Hi, my name is Dr. Miriam Delphin-Rittman, and I'm the Assistant Secretary for Mental Health and Substance Use in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the leader of the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. September is National Recovery Month, and we are excited to celebrate the millions of people across the country who are in recovery. We honor their incredible strength and resilience and walk with them as they continue their individual recovery journeys. We also recognize and thank our many partners, all who play vital roles in supporting those journeys. We are stronger together, and no one should have to do this alone. With the nation's current mental health crisis and overdose epidemic, many of us know someone who is struggling with their overall well-being. And we at SAMHSA want everyone to know that there is hope. There are tens of millions of people in the U.S. who are living proof that recovery is possible. Recovery is for every person, every family, every community, and everyone deserves accessible, appropriate behavioral health care, regardless of who you are or where you live. We will continue our essential work to eradicate stigma, to remove barriers to care, and increase access to prevention, harm reduction, and recovery services and supports in communities across America. To the families, friends, communities, and service providers who are the unyielding champions of the recovery community, you are needed now more than ever. Thank you for sharing your light with those in need. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 to reach the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or chat 988lifeline.org. If you're looking for treatment options near you, call SAMHSA's National Helpline at 800-662-HELP or visit findtreatment.samhsa.gov.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of Ask the Messengers. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you would like to help support our show, please feel free to make a donation of any kind by visiting our show website, www.askthemessengers.org. If you prefer to mail donations, please make check or money order payable to Ask the Messengers TV show and send it to 18400 Schaefer Highway, Detroit, Michigan 48235. Ask the Messengers is the program that deals with things that help you. Thank you for watching.